Hey guys, I'm Dustin Davis and welcome to the channel. Here, you'll find everything you need to know about the Dolphins. Something fundamental is shifting in Miami. The Dolphins sit at 4-7, watching opportunity slip away while questions mount about what comes next. Questions that reach beyond any single game or injury report. Decisions made now will echo through the franchise for years. Front office calculations, coordinator performances, and personnel gambles are converging in ways that could redefine the organization's direction. Each choice carries weight that extends far past this disappointing season. The path forward remains unclear, shaped by forces both visible and hidden. What the Miami Dolphins do in the coming weeks may determine whether they rebuild quickly or struggle through prolonged mediocrity. Let's analyze everything that happens in Miami. Before we dive in, I have a quick request. If you find value in our content, please give us a like. It's a small gesture, but it really helps. Thanks for being awesome. Miami acted quickly this Wednesday, moving cornerback Juju Brents to injured reserve following a foot injury sustained during the team's Week 11 overtime victory against Washington. The move left the defensive backfield dangerously thin and forced immediate action to find reinforcements. Brents, selected 44th overall by Indianapolis in a previous draft, had displayed potential despite limited opportunities. He started 2 critical late-season contests and finished his 2025 campaign with 14 tackles, 1 pass breakup, and a fumble recovery before the injury ended his year. The cornerback position had already been ravaged by attrition. Kader Kohou, Storm Duck, and Artie Burns are all done for the season, creating an urgent need for bodies who could either compete for immediate snaps or offer reliable depth. Interim general manager Champ Kelly and head coach Mike McDaniel needed someone capable of stepping in while defensive coordinator Anthony Weaver worked to patch together a functioning secondary. Miami's answer came shortly after placing Brents on IR, signing veteran cornerback A.J. Green from the Los Angeles Rams practice squad. The 27-year-old defender brings 36 NFL appearances across tenures in Cleveland and Los Angeles, including 2 starts. His career statistics include 26 tackles, 2 interceptions, 7 pass breakups, 2 fumble recoveries, and 14 special teams tackles. Standing 6'2" and weighing 198 pounds, the Oklahoma State product started 39 games collegiately and arrives with a clear mandate. Green joins Miami's practice squad with potential for game day elevation depending on defensive needs. He'll battle for defensive snaps while also contributing to special teams units, a dual role that makes him valuable despite the practice squad designation. On the offensive side of the ball, one young star is quietly forcing Miami's front office to make a critical financial decision soon. While former general manager Chris Grier made numerous personnel errors, he consistently found value at running back in the middle rounds, and Devon Achane represents the latest vindication of that strategy. His combination of explosiveness and vision has generated reliable production while hinting at even higher performance ceiling. Achane enters the final year of his rookie deal in 2026, presenting Miami's next general manager with a straightforward but consequential choice. Lock him up with an extension before free agency or risk watching a talented, improving back hit the open market. The reality is simple. Achane keeps getting better, and if he posts another productive campaign, the bidding will be fierce. What makes this particularly notable is that Achane's impressive numbers have come despite playing behind an offensive line that grades poorly by virtually every evaluation metric. Should Miami's front office successfully upgrade the run-blocking infrastructure, Achane's efficiency metrics and touchdown production would almost certainly spike, fundamentally altering both his career trajectory and the offense's potential output. Across 2.5 seasons, Achane has rushed for 800, 907, and 900 yards, a pattern of steady improvement. Unless injury or regression intervenes, he should eclipse 1,000 yards within the next game or two. The last Miami runner to surpass 1,000 yards was Raheem Mostert, who posted 1,012 in 2023. Jay Ajayi reached 1,272 in 2016. While the 1,000-yard milestone appears within reach for Achane, approaching Ricky Williams' franchise record of 1,853 yards would demand an extraordinary second-half surge that borders on unrealistic. A substantial salary increase appears inevitable in Achane's future. From a roster construction perspective, Miami should explore extension talks immediately, locking down an ascending talent before his market value balloons if he benefits from improved offensive line performance. Players with this much clear developmental runway are rare finds on any roster. Achane has progressed each season, and nothing in his performance arc suggests that trajectory will flatten. Barring injury, continued growth should be the expectation. Looking beyond the roster, whispers are growing louder about two members of the coaching staff who could be headed elsewhere. Miami sits at 4-7, and head coach Mike McDaniel's future grows increasingly murky. Despite a season filled with frustration and mistakes, certain elements of competence and development within the organization have caught league attention. Among those elements, according to a prominent NFL reporter, are the performances of offensive coordinator Frank Smith and defensive coordinator Anthony Weaver, both of whom have begun appearing in preliminary conversations about potential head coaching candidates for the 2026 hiring cycle. Pelissero identifies Smith and references Weaver in coaching discussions. In his comprehensive survey of 24 emerging candidates worth monitoring, NFL insider Tom Pelissero identifies Frank Smith as a potential head coaching prospect, noting his background coaching tight ends and offensive linemen. While Pelissero doesn't explicitly list Weaver among those 24, he mentions Weaver elsewhere in the article alongside other seasoned coordinators and experienced assistants likely to surface in head coach conversations. Pelissero's compilations are closely studied by front offices and media outlets. His assessments often influence early season discussions and serve as credible scouting references. League executives catalog such names, particularly when franchises enter coaching transitions and seek candidates with coordinator credentials and schematic adaptability. Of the two coordinators, Anthony Weaver presents the more developed resume for head coaching consideration. Weaver is in his 14th coaching season and spent 7 years as an NFL player with Houston and Baltimore. Though he's never held a head coaching position, Weaver's experience includes serving as assistant head coach under John Harbaugh in Baltimore, a credential that enhances his candidacy. He interviewed with both New Orleans and Chicago last year for their head coaching vacancies, and given the measurable progress Miami's defense has shown, it's logical his name will resurface. Miami's defense started the year in disarray, especially the secondary, but has steadily improved as the season unfolded, limiting opponents to 13 points or fewer in 3 of the past 4 contests. With McDaniel's situation unresolved, natural questions arise. Would Miami promote from within if the head coaching position opens? That scenario appears unlikely but isn't inconceivable. Significantly, if Weaver leaves to accept an NFL head coaching role, the Dolphins would receive third-round compensatory draft picks in both 2026 and 2027 under the league's coaching compensation framework. Those potential compensatory selections could meaningfully enhance Miami's roster-building strategy next April, potentially expanding the team's collection of third-round picks depending on previous trade activity. The NFL's compensatory structure requires 2 years of tenure with the hiring organization for picks to be awarded, meaning if New Orleans or Chicago had hired Weaver last offseason, Miami would not have qualified for those compensatory selections. Around the season's halfway point, envisioning Frank Smith as a top 2026 head coaching candidate requires a stretch. Pelissero's decision to include Smith among his 24 prospects makes sense. Smith carries 16 years of NFL coaching experience and has functioned as Miami's offensive coordinator since 2022. Pelissero also notes that he attracted interview interest from Carolina and Seattle following the 2023 season, and that he received strong peer evaluations, topping an NFL Players Association survey of offensive coordinators. However, a significant hurdle exists. Smith doesn't call plays on game day, a detail that will likely surface during head coach interviews. Arguments have been made that Smith should assume play calling duties in Miami, but that shift hasn't occurred during his tenure under McDaniel. Pelissero's observation that Smith is a big piece of game planning and that the offense improved when Smith relocated from the booth to the sideline is supportable, though debatable. Miami's offense has declined from the high-powered unit of 2022-23, and it has displayed glaring vulnerabilities in critical moments, particularly in home contests against Baltimore and in the international game versus Washington. It's reasonable to anticipate Smith will receive some interviews, and he may be included among coordinators teams consult for initial conversations. Nevertheless, he doesn't yet appear positioned as a frontrunner. A bold scenario is gaining traction, one that could hand Miami a rare chance to land a quarterback with game-changing physical tools. The Miami Dolphins may be approaching a critical juncture. If the 2025 season continues deteriorating and present trends indicate that danger, the organization might face comprehensive change. Head coach Mike McDaniel and quarterback Tua Tagovailoa are experiencing mounting pressure, and a significant roster or coaching transformation could become unavoidable. Meanwhile, the Indianapolis Colts appear to be reconsidering their strategy. Their unexpected signing of Daniel Jones this offseason represented a shift that casts doubt over Anthony Richardson's future role in Indianapolis. If the Colts choose to part ways with their 2023 first-round quarterback, one destination makes tactical sense and could transform both organizations' futures. Proposed trade: Anthony Richardson to the Dolphins. Miami Dolphins receive quarterback Anthony Richardson. Indianapolis Colts receive 2026 fourth-round pick. At 23 years old, Anthony Richardson still possesses the uncommon physical traits that once made him among the most captivating quarterback prospects in recent history. His arm strength ranks elite, his mobility generates explosive play capability, and his blend of size and athleticism is nearly impossible to duplicate at the position. His early professional career has been disrupted by injuries, which have prevented on-field consistency and hindered development. Yet his long-term upside remains considerable, and for an organization like Miami, acquiring him would constitute a deliberate high-ceiling gamble with relatively limited short-term risk. He could be afforded time to adjust, sitting behind Tua Tagovailoa, absorbing the offense and maturing in a structured setting. If Tua remains healthy and secures a substantial extension, Richardson would become a valuable internal resource who could be traded later. If Tua's health or performance falters, Miami would already possess a premium developmental quarterback ready to assume control, a rare form of insurance at football's most critical position. This type of forward-thinking, low-risk acquisition is precisely the kind of protection intelligent front offices pursue to secure long-term competitiveness. For Miami, acquiring Richardson would represent proactive insurance against future quarterback instability. For Indianapolis, trading him for tangible assets would enable the franchise to commit to Jones while preserving long-term flexibility. Would you pull the trigger on trading a fourth-round pick for Anthony Richardson? Is Richardson's elite physical talent worth the injury risk, or has he already shown too many red flags to gamble on? Could sitting behind Tua actually help Richardson develop, or does he need to play to improve? Leave your opinion in the comments. Before you leave, drop a like and subscribe. Be part of our fanbase, and let's make Dolphins even stronger. Until the next video,